Hi everyone, it's Zav. How is everybody doing today? I just wanted to get on to say hello to all of you. Wait, let me see if I can pull my face up right here. Let me just pull it up. Boom. Hi everybody. How are you? Oh my goodness, I am. Woo! It's been a while. It's just been a while that I think I've done a non-specific live broadcast because it's just been a few crazy weeks. Um, and I just saw a few people have birthdays today. Let me go to birthday people. Let me see. What? Okay, let me share my screen. Let's start there. How's that? Let me share. I see a few people having birthdays today. Let me share that out. Who's here? If you're here, say hello so I can say hello to you right back. All right, I see a few people who showed up on my Facebook page, remind us of friends' birthdays. So I'm going to say happy birthday, Mark. Happy birthday, Kathy Hackle. Happy birthday, Peaches Quinn, Beverly, Layla, and Dan Gurman. Hi, happy birthday. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of like get on today because I just got off a call with a virtual events platform. Hey, Ed, good to see you. Hey, Ed, if you want to come on the camera, come on and join me. There's a StreamYard link in the post, and you can just click and come join me. It'd be nice to have a few people join me. It'd be cool to catch up like this with friends. Anyways, I've been really like tied up, and I know I haven't done much non-specific live broadcasts, and I usually do non-specific live broadcasts on a weekly basis, but I've just been really, really tied up. And I thought it would be nice to kind of just show up today and just catch up with everybody. One, because I've been really busy with events with virtual events, the vendor events that my business partner in Malaysia, Jay, and I, who are doing the Malaysian Idul Fitri e-Bazaar, which is a e-Bazaar, the first Malaysia's e-Bazaar for this holiday season coming up next month. So actually this month. No, this month, yes. Anyways, so I wanted to come on and just kind of do a non-specific broadcast because I just got off a call with a virtual events platform. I'm so hyped. I'm so energetic right now because I feel like, oh my God, there's a lot of potential. Anyways, who is here? If you're here, say hello to you. Just say hello to me in the comments, because if you don't say hello, I don't know who you are. So I'm just going to say welcome to the broadcast, people. I'm Zan. Wherever you're catching this live broadcast, what I do is I'm a live broadcast and virtual events producer and consultant. So today is not so much about business, but mostly about engaging and catching up with my tribe here on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching this in the world. As you can see, I have an authentic face showing up today. Didn't feel like putting anything on because, I just woke up and I got my first shot. Right here is kind of reddish. As you can see, it's reddish right now. This is all swollen right here. So I got my first dose, and I thought, hey, it would kind of be cool to kind of just like get on and just catch up with everybody and see how everybody's doing. So I got my first dose about 2 days ago. And other than it being really, really sore and swollen, didn't really have any kind of like bad reaction to it. So I'm kind of like feeling chill, but just feeling a little tired. What has been your experience with it? Let me know in the comments, because I would love to put your comments up, like what Ed just said here. Hey, Zaf. Hey. And if you happen to want to kind of join me on camera, so the disclosure is if you come on camera, I just want to have a casual conversation. The link is in the comments, or actually in the post. So you can just click on that. If you're on a computer, just come and join me on camera. So I must say, a lot has happened in the past few weeks. Crazy stuff. I want to show you what I've been doing with my girlfriend, Jay, in Malaysia. So we launched Malaysia's first ever e-Bazaar, because Malaysia is trying really hard to get to launch the country with more focus on digitalization. So we've done events for this holiday that's coming up. It's a Muslim event. As you can see, we have a lot of content. As you can see here, we did a few campaigns. I don't know if you all can see this. So a little bit about business. We reached 25,000 people for this event, but we didn't really get the results that we wanted to. But I'm going to share this more information about this particular results and stuff next week. Oh, I see Ed is here. I'm gonna bring Ed on. Hi, Ed. So good to see. Oh,
give me a second to figure out how to turn you off. There we go.
The same
that
color.
One goes away.
Did you get the memo? You must have got the memo.
Yeah, there it is. Hi. How's it going?
So good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yes, I'm in Florida now.
I know. You're enjoying that nice weather and you're like chilling. And we're all up here in Connecticut. Today we're getting a lot of rain and it's just like, ugh. Anyways, it's nice to see you. See, this is why we have technology like this, right, Ed? So we can still stay connected. Are you using StreamYard a lot or are you using another platform?
Mostly I'm using a platform that you used to use.
Yes.
But you're not really, they're not paying you to say it. So I'm using I'm using Be Live most of the time. Well, no, there's a lot of people who I talk to who, they're advertising for Streamline. A lot of people who I know online, but then again, a lot of other people I know are using other
platforms.
Be Live or one of the other ones too.
There are so many platforms these days, right? And we just have to, I know when you started, you were checking out a few platforms. I started with checking out a lot of the other platforms, but then I realized what happened was, I needed to stick to what I really enjoyed. And then it was easy for me to have it pass it on to my team to learn. There's an easier learning curve. And then if I had clients, it was easy to teach them too. So that's why I kind of stuck with this platform because it was just, for me, it was easier, and it can do a lot of things. And other than that, I've just stayed on this platform because I love it. I'm just realizing something.
I'm all right. Restream. I'm sorry.
You're using Restream too?
No, I'm not, but it's one of the ones that I've been looking at.
Oh, okay. So I'm realizing something. You have a nice, awesome backdrop like wood, right? And I have a backdrop like bricks. I love how that actually complements one another.
And the funny thing is they're made out of the same material.
Yes. People often ask me when they see my background, they go oh, did you paint those bricks behind me? I'm like, you mean this one? And they go oh, what is it? I'm like, it's just a photography backdrop, because I'm not a big fan of virtual backgrounds, and I try to make it real as possible because I didn't want to deal with the lightings and stuff too much to get distracted. So I just hey, this is a great option. So I found one that kind of represented my colors. So what have you been up to?
Well, I'm involved in real estate. I've been doing some things down here. I'm looking for things. It's actually real estate down here is similar to what I hear it is up there in that there's not really a lot on the market. And what does come onto the market down here, a house that's in the same development as me, maybe a 5-minute walk away, basically the same house as mine, but it's got 2 bathrooms, 2 full baths instead of ours that has 3. They put it on the market on a Thursday. On Saturday, there were 5 offers. They accepted one at $35,000 above asking.
Wow. That's what I heard too, because I know you still have your group and I'm still in that group, your real estate group. So I see these conversations a lot and I've been talking to a few of the people and Julie Evelino, and Julie did mention that she says, that's the market we are dealing now in Connecticut, which is, they have very little inventory. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I think it's just the seller's market right now. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, for me, I've been doing a lot of virtual events, and if you've noticed, I launched this concept called Vendor Shows Live back in March, and it kind of took off. And then I kind of partnered up with an events partner in Malaysia, who I met when she was here in the U.S. So we were introduced through Grapevine. So I just got off a call because since I updated my LinkedIn profile and with virtual events producer, and everybody wanted me to test their virtual events platform. And remember those days when we started streaming and we had like this glut of platforms, whatever to stream and broadcast. That's what I'm experiencing right now with virtual events platform. And I tell you, there's a glut that's, like you could just choose whatever you want. It can get so overwhelming. But today I just got a call. One of the inspiration for me to get on this live broadcast was I just got off a call with a virtual events platform in London. And the tool that they showed me just kind of opened up my eyes, like the possibility of doing virtual events and mirroring the in-person experience was tremendous. And I was like, oh my God, and I could see where people are going. But then when my colleague and I in Malaysia started this first ever e-bazaar holiday in Malaysia, we also realized the challenges of bringing virtual events online, doing these in-person events, to take the in-person events to kind of virtualize those events. And people are just trying to play catch up with the idea of you can actually do this online and, all that stuff. It's just like a learning curve. So I think it's just like, it reminded me of the days when I started streaming, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember those days, so yeah. But it's just kind of cool. Do you attend a lot of online networking events, Ed?
Yeah, I guess, well, not really networking events. I listen to a lot of people that are saying things that I want them to say. We're actually, there goes my alarm. I've got an in-person event at a real estate event at we meet for lunch once a week. And a lot of places have started with live events. So I certainly typically, well, the thing about joining events and going to events where you're in a virtual, I go to typical events for networking purposes, and I just don't see it as being effective. Being there is, like, well, we're talking to each other now, which is fine. It's a one-to-one, which is different than 1 to 30 other people cluttering up the screen in little boxes, looking like we're from the Brady Bunch or something. So you don't have a lot of time to talk. You really can't discuss what it is you're doing. I used to do a lot of long form interviews, and I moved down here. I kind of stopped. I'm thinking of going back to it and doing something like alternating, maybe a week talking about a real estate subject, possibly with an interview, a week. Next week, maybe interviewing somebody who is a local business. Maybe the next week, I'm gonna try to fill up 4 weeks of a month, and then start over again, and possibly make that my new format for what the interview is going to be. So maybe the next week, I'll talk about some sort of a real estate concept and just do a monologue.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
there's 3 of them right there. And I guess that what I've called my show is I basically interview people who, in the past, who you want on your real estate team. So
Yes.
I talk to people who are in say an aligned industry, like maybe a lender,
Yes.
maybe an
Property
attorney,
management company. and stuff
Right.
like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
So
funny that you say that because you and I, because when you started doing live broadcasting and streaming, we talked about this also. It's just us, networking and bringing value to our audience, and that I feel it's a bigger kind of way. And I had this conversation with the gal who was showing me this platform earlier. And I said, I've talked about this like networking for a long, long time, but people didn't really catch up to it until it took a pandemic to make them understand like what I do, the value that we can bring through a platform like this. And you mentioned like Zoom, because for me, I'm a little bit allergic to Zoom because my engaging concept never included Zoom because I never liked more than 10 people. In fact, I don't see a reason why 6 people should be on the screen because I don't like dead air spaces, right? Because for me, that's from a content perspective, it's like dead air. There's no value in dead air. So, we have a way and strategy to bring people in and off camera, instead of having 100 people, 50 people on camera who do not speak. So that's never been my kind of like engagement. And that's why when I create shows, I just keep a very minimum amount of people on camera. But that said, I love that you are going back to it, the idea, because you're bringing value again. And like you said, you're just not thinking from a real estate point of view, but you're also, reaching out to the people who actually work with realtors or, like property managers and, maybe banks and stuff like that. So that would be like a great way to rehash or revamp your shows. Cause I love that idea.
well,
It's like
okay, so
one-on-one networking. Yeah.
sure. So my one of the reasons for my change is that in Connecticut, I was a member of other specific real estate groups. I have my own real estate investor group,
Mm-hmm.
which at this point has over 3,300 people in it.
Yeah.
But it's Connecticut real estate investors. It
Yep.
isn't really. I'm in Florida now. Starting another one would be difficult, and what I found is that the ones that are down here generally don't want other people to put their videos in
Yep.
their groups. So
Mm-hmm.
I did start a local group. So I've got a
Mm-hmm.
local group that is county centric
Mm-hmm.
for the county that I'm in, which is business people. These business people generally, I mean, will every once in a while they watch something that's real estate centric? And yeah, they will.
Yeah.
But alternating between real estate or doing a real estate perspective on
Mm-hmm.
something else. And since it's a business group,
Yep.
interviewing businesses specifically from that group. So they're people
Yep.
that they know.
Yep.
And so that will kind of get my name out there. I'm both a real
Yes.
estate agent and an investor, although at this point, most of what I'm doing is investment. And
Yeah.
I guess that has a lot to do with the fact of what the market is available. For instance,
Absolutely.
in Connecticut and in Florida, I'm in Central Florida where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Agents, if you want to go out with an agent, well, if you want to go out with an agent, you better be ready to we call it pulling the trigger, signing on the dotted line, making an offer. Because if you look at something today, then by the end of the day, if
May not be
it's
there.
anywhere near, no, it's not gonna be there. And you go and you show somebody a property and they make an offer and it's gone by then. And you got to do that. Unfortunately, you have to do that 3 or 4
Yes.
times before they get frustrated. And
Exactly.
well, look, here's what it is. Do you want to buy a house now? By now, I mean in the next month or two. If you do want to do that, then the only way to do that is to make an offer. So what would you want to pay? And it was I mentioned the one that was $35,000 over asking. That's at least 10% more.
That's insane. Wow.
It's probably $75,000 or $80,000 more than I paid for that. The house I'm in 18 months ago.
What?
So, we're and my house has got an extra bathroom.
Yeah.
But other than that, the houses, they're pretty similar. While they may not be built by the same builder, they're the same basic style.
Yep.
and it's where the development is on a circle. So, you know, my house, that my neighbor, their neighborhood is my neighborhood because there's maybe 50 houses around the circle, and that's it.
Yeah. No, I think you should actually revamp, and just kind of do the show again. I think because if you do it well and you plan it and strategize well, you will actually grow that community faster and even the viewership faster, because this is what I'm also, doing this event in Malaysia with my colleague in Malaysia. One of the big things we realized we had to do was kind of bring the educational point of view for many, many things. We're also not only just doing event, but we're also educating along the way. So we have to create conversations like you and I sitting down here and having a conversation and sharing it with the world. It makes it relevant and makes it important for people. Like you said, sometimes they'll just kind of come across a content and go like, oh, I need this conversation, what is that? And suddenly they're contacting us. And yeah, I think that's a great idea of revamping the show, because that would be really great because you're now in Florida, creating that opportunity would be great. Awesome.
So
Awesome.
where can this show be seen right now? I saw it on Facebook. Are we on any of the other social medias simultaneously?
Yes, simultaneously. I push it to 3 different groups. My personal profile, my business page, so whenever I do my Zeffy chat, I do like probably 6 different locations. So if that's why I tell people, don't like just look a video and think like, oh, that's only 5 people watching, but actually this is multi-streamed to different location. And because we want that reach, right? We want to make sure that people are getting the information. So are you still using BeLive?
Yes. And
you can actually multi-stream that out too.
I can BeLive. Yep. I can multi-stream.
Yeah.
I'm only on YouTube and Facebook, but I could multi-stream to LinkedIn.
Anywhere. Yep.
And yep. I think that Restream goes to the most number of places.
Yes, you can. I mean, you can do, and even with I don't know if BeLive can do custom RTMP. If you do custom RTMP, because like for me, certain for instance, the event that I'm doing right now in Malaysia, we also have like our main stage live presentations. We don't only multi-stream them out, but we also have a place where we house them, where we anchor the show, what we call our main stage live. So it's all custom RTMP. So we can use that custom RTMP just like you would use in restream.io, and then kind of like anchor it there, so the content will always be there. Then I can always delete my social, live broadcast, because when I'm broadcasting to different locations is just to kind of get more viewership. But after that, for lead generation purposes, I always anchor it somewhere else. So yeah, as long as, you can custom RTMP, you can literally send it anywhere. Yeah.
I'm also using OBS.
Yeah.
OBS when I'm doing something. When I'm doing something on my own and I'm not interviewing anybody.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's really great. It gives you it's a double-edged sword. Gives you additional options of what you can do and how you can look to your audience, but it also makes it's also more complicated to make it that way.
Absolutely. And you and I know this, right? That's why I try to, these days, if I am not hired for a project that requires high-end production, I usually stay in this platform because I can do a lot with this platform, like, creatively, design-wise, I can do it creatively. Because for me, I'm also teaching everybody, plus my my target audience, I want to make sure that what I'm also sharing is something that is duplicatable, because if they can't do it because it's too much, because I'm not really a techie person, but people think I am. I'm like, no, I keep the process simple because I only have like a certain set of hands, during the broadcast. I just need to know where to press. And if I do more, then, that usually requires an extra team member or something like that. So if the event doesn't call for that feature or extra, I want this, then I'll be like, okay, I can handle this. If not, I might have to bring at least 2 or 3 different team members. Like for instance, if we do concurrent rooms, right, in a virtual event, then I have to like, oh, I might need a little extra help. Yeah, that's a lot of things. And you and I, we started streaming and broadcasting. We're kind of a little bit ahead of the game because we kind of know what our processes are like what we need. But I think for those who post pandemic are realizing there are so many tools out there that they can create like, live content like this and just like stream it out. It's going to be a learning curve for many people because it's going to take time to kind of figure out like, oh, I like this, I don't like this, or this is too much for me to handle. Because when I start talking about Wirecast, OBS, or vMix, or they go like, what? That's how I started. I know that. So yeah, no, definitely. When you start back your show, let me know. I mean, I'll be more happy to, share it with, communities that, kind of find your content relevant. I think this is the way to go with that. What I do with virtual events, I bring in a live component to the event so that people can still have a conversation.
I remember the second time we met, it was at a live event that you were doing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was is it called the Wheelhouse Restaurant in Woodbridge? And you had
Wheelers.
Wheelers.
Yes.
You
Wheelers.
had
They're no longer there.
4 cameras. And it was just interesting watching what you were doing, since you were, like one of the cameras, or maybe 2 of the cameras were.
Oh my God, Ed, you just transported me through time, because I totally forgot about that. And that's like a great share, because I feel that, in this time post-pandemic, people are still thinking like the relevance of doing virtual events. I'm like, watch, you'll have somebody who will say we're not post-pandemic yet, but still people are thinking like, oh, things are opening up in Connecticut. It'll be better. Things are going to go back. I'm like, no, not really. But, that's going to be a need for hybrid event, right? So what you just mentioned there was, when I told people I probably am the godmother of hybrid event, they thought I was lying. So what you just said there kind of like, time stamped it, like Wheelers is no longer around. That was like,
no, I knew that
5 years ago. Yeah. I feel so sad because I love the place and they had a great space. So yeah, I remember those days. Remember, I carried this, but they're all like phone cameras, right? And then I put on tripods. So camera 1, camera 2. This is hybrid event. I love that. You remember that?
That was owned by the same guy who owns the UPS store next door, and Lock, Stock, and Barrel, which is up the road.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I only know about the UPS because the son, Michael, was the one who kind of concentrated on the restaurant. It's a beautiful place, Wheelers. And then later I found out the father owns the UPS. And I'm
it's his brother who runs Lock, Stock, and Barrel up the road.
Wow, really? Mm-hmm. So I think Michael, if I'm not mistaken, moved down to Florida too, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I've been using UPS stores since they were mailboxes, etc. stores, because it gives you.
I was just going to say that. Oh my God,
it gives you a nice business-looking address on the main road.
It does.
So, I don't think that I can do it as your guest, but can you do multiple cameras? I've got my teleprompter over here, which is a second camera, so I could switch to that camera, and suddenly you'll be watching me talking sideways instead of looking into the camera, or I can turn and look into that camera.
For me, if this is going to the technicality of things, right? So for me, if I were like the way that I've done it, because I kept it really simple without doing so many patch ins, just because, like I said, people don't understand this. You can use a tool like ManyCam or whatever to have different angles. Absolutely. But I always say, if your computer doesn't have a big CPU enough to kind of handle all these different tools, it will kind of slow down your feed. So most of the time, what I do is just I patch in like let's say we have a third person calling in. So I just use my phone as the second camera to patch in as the next, like another third person coming into the call. So I'll just, do camera switching instead of having them like the ManyCam patch in or camera patch in, because I haven't taken the time to set it up that way yet. I just wanted it to be easy, because I know ManyCam uses hog CPU power, and so does of course StreamYard, BeLive, whatever. it all hucks CPU power. And if I don't have a good, engine, it will slow me down. And people often ask, like I've seen in groups, right? They'll ask like, oh, why is it lagging? So I've always had to like go down to the roots of that conversation. I'm like, what is your Wi-Fi connection like? Is it hot wire and all that stuff? Because people think like, oh, just because 5 other people suggested you to use a third-party camera tool like Minicam, you should use it. And I'm saying like your computer can't handle it. So a lot of times for me, if I wanted like a second, like a second angle, third angle, like if I'm working with a vendor and they're doing a demo, I always say, for you, just use a second device so I can patch it in, and then if I need to change the scene, I'll just change it. Like that's another camera in here so that they themselves don't have to hog their computers, because I don't know what the computer specs look like from their end. So I always do that because it takes a longer time to set up the different angle camera if we're doing from just one computer. So that's how I've been working it. And I know the guys who are so techy, they just go like, let's just have a tool, set it up, second camera, third camera angle. I'm like, good. My audience would not know how to do that.
The camera angle that you're never going to see, which you see on some other shows, is the camera angle from behind that shows what my desk looks like.
Yes. And then I've had like things. Hang on. The reason I'm away from my camera is I want to show a tool, because one of the things that I've done, like I have this the clip on, right? I'll clip it on. And then like if I want it, say a crafter wanted to kind of do something and put their camera angle here. So I'll patch that in as like a second, like a second camera, and then they can actually, interchange between their conversation, and then I can put the demo of them crafting or cooking or whatever. And that's how I've been doing it. I kept it really simple, because if not, I just feel that, because I'm working everything producing remotely, it's just going to be challenging to tell them, set this up, set that up, because I can't see the computer. So it has worked better for me that way. And especially I'm working with non-technical people, it's just challenging to kind of get it set up in one setup. So I just have them call in with multiple devices. I can just, patch that in. It's worked great so far. So yeah.
One of the things that Tristan G, who you may not know, he's from the UK, he showed is that you take a dummy plug and you plug it into the headphone jack, and that turn the headphone jack, and that turns off the microphone, so you don't have a mic from two, and then you can use this as a second camera and have it join your StreamYard or Be Live or whatever you're using.
That's what I do with whenever I do, like, let's just say I do the vendor shows right now, right? So one of the things that I do is like, I'll tell them, do you have a second device? And they go like, yeah. Tablet, phone, they go like, yeah. Okay, I want you to go get that. And then I want you to find, even if it's just wireless earbuds, right? Or get your earphones, plug it in. So we're not picking up the speaker feedback. And they always wonder like, what the heck I'm trying to ask them to do. I said, no, just do exactly what I ask you to do. And then they go like, oh my God, that's a second camera? I'm like, and then, when they start cooking or they start demoing something, and I just switch, I'm like, you just be there and be you, and I'll switch it. And they go like, oh, when they watch the video replay, they go like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, yeah, that's, like, this is remote production. Like, you are in the TV studio. They have multiple angles. We're doing them multiple angles, and they enjoy it, Yeah, the only part is just telling them, because of the speaker feedback, it just it's all, from experience, right? We're doing different things. So yeah, absolutely. It's just basic stuff.
Then I've gotten friendly with some other people who are Amazon influencers. And they, when I saw what you were doing, I was thinking in some ways it's similar to what the Amazon influencers do, because they basically do a home shopping network style show, and it broadcasts to and you can actually watch them on Amazon. And if you go to a product they happen to be talking about, they might be there doing it. Yep. And they sit there with a carousel in front of them with maybe 30 products on it, and
Yep.
keep going from product to product to
Yep.
product as people
Yep.
come and watch, and I guess they
Exactly.
come and they leave, and
Exactly.
they get a cut of everything that you buy.
Yes. The thing with what I'm doing that's why I was actually inspired by the whole idea of QVC Live, right? So QVC and HSN, they both have been the pioneers in the social selling space because they had the TV production. But then because, I started streaming and broadcasting last December, actually I've had this idea like probably 3-5 years ago. And I said, people these days don't necessarily need to have an in-person location to sell to their audience. They can literally be anywhere in the world to do this. I'm having goosebumps by saying this. And I said, you can literally be anywhere. And when I say this, people look at me like I came down from planet Mars because they think it's not doable. But then I said, listen to everything that's coming up, popping up. QVC is now on Facebook. KHSN is on Facebook. They're doing exactly the same thing they do on TV, but they've just brought it on a social platform. And then, like you said, Amazon. So the way that I do it is, so my target audience would really be people who just don't know how to do this themselves. So we do it like an event based, like anything. You would go to a networking event and you have vendor tables, right? You would go to a trade show, the trade show tables. But these people don't necessarily know. They rock at in-person events, but they don't necessarily know how to do this conversation online, network online, sell online. And that's where I come in, and we walk them through the whole process of the virtual event. We set them up. We're like, do you know how to do this presentation online? These are the things that you need to do. So, we're doing all the work. And I think for many people, just like any in-person speakers who do TEDx talk, right? And you bring them on a video, they go like, where am I looking at? Like, it changes. The logistics change, and they go like, what am I looking at? What I'm supposed to do? And suddenly everything changed. So with what I'm doing right now is just, focusing on the vendors who want to do the vendor trade shows, expos, that kind of thing. Like, how do you be front to front, face to face? And like, Ed is your potential buyer. Like, how do you speak to Ed? How do you bring Ed into your space? Most people don't know how to do that, Ed. And I've experienced with this multiple events already. I'm like, wow, there's a huge learning curve. And therefore, as event planners and producers, I have to kind of like build in like kind of education format a little bit, like a module to help them like get prepared, because they don't really know. Because in-person events, you carry your stuff. Oh, you show your stuff, right? How do I do this in person, like on camera? Because they don't really know how to. So, yeah.
Then another live that I did, and I only did this
Uh-huh.
once. It was 2 summers ago.
Uh-huh.
I was down here last summer, so I missed their event. But there's a religious organization that does a carnival every summer, and it's they're going to sell hot dogs and stuff like that, burgers and things like that there. But there's also many vendors, and there's music, and so I got a wireless mic that worked into my phone, and my wife held my phone, and we were live streaming on Facebook. And you go around and you point the mic at people and say, so you're doing the ring toss game, and tell me about it. Or here we're walking by, there's the bounce castle, and there's the kids bouncing in the bounce castle. And there's the puppet show with the Punch and Judy style show, and then all the vendors, and you're selling this, they're selling that, and come on down, join us.
Exactly. Yep.
I don't mean to rush you, but I got a lunch that I got to meet people at today.
Have fun at the lunch. Stay safe.
Okay, and let's do this again.
Board. Yes, we got to do this again. Maybe we can do another show and just bring a few of our old friends and catch up, because I love doing this. I miss doing this. This is how we connect. All right, Ed, thanks for coming on, and I'll see you probably on the next live chat broadcast.
Okay, catch you later.
Enjoy your lunch. Bye. So yeah, everybody, that was a great conversation with my friend Ed. Ed and I did a lot of networking events here in Connecticut, and for some of you who knows my story, I used to do a lot of in-person networking events. Like, I even facilitated some in-person networking events, and how I started live streaming and broadcasting was I wanted to have a way for people to come into my space to me instead of me, trying to figure out who should I have come to my event or attend my events because I have value to share. But then, I figured out, hey, there must be a better way to do this. So that's what I started. I started streaming. And when I started streaming broadcasting, I felt like I'm, people tell me this, that I'm a little bit ahead of my game all the time. And, I'm glad I stayed with this, live broadcasting, live streaming space, because now pandemic is here and people kept asking me and telling me like, oh my God, you were so spot on when you said this a long time ago that we actually had to do more online stuff. And I said, yeah, people don't necessarily need to meet in person to build a relationship. And that's what I've proven over time. So yeah, I was saying, we had this huge event and so many people that I met throughout the few weeks that I've been doing this event in Malaysia, and it's just crazy. Look at the numbers here. So from April 4th to May 4th, we reached about 25,000 people for our event, and we had engagements like 1,700 engagements. May not be big for some of you, but for me, being the first event in Malaysia that we're doing, it's called My Ideal Fitri E-Bazaar. So, there's a holiday coming up in Malaysia. Muslims in Malaysia celebrate Eid. So this is the first ever e-bazaar that my girlfriend and I, my colleague in Malaysia, Jay, we are producing this event. And there's so many things that she and I have had to learn, and we found it as a challenge. But now what's happened is that we're so happy. We planted a lot of seeds. Now people are recognizing the work that we do, and people want to be a part of this journey. And I'm telling you, it's just like mind blowing. And I just got off a call with the virtual events platform today, and I'm just like, whoa, the potential of virtual events, what? But anyways, I don't know who's here. I see a few people watching. If you're watching, do say hello so I can say hello to you back. This was a very non-specific live conversation. I just wanted to come on, say hello to everyone, because it's been a while since I did a non-specific topic kind of live broadcast. So I thought it'd be nice to kind of catch up with everybody and share what I've been going, what's been happening. I even had my first shot. Ouchie, ouchie. So who's here? If you're here, say hello. If you want to jump on camera, and you can. Carlos Phoenix, he goes, fine. I can see how he says this in this energy that he says, fine, hello, or fine, hello. Carlos, you should be on camera. I know you're at work, but so Carlos and I, we actually co-produce a lot of post broadcast post I can't say it post. We've produced quite a few productions or live broadcasts in the past, so we kind of collaborated on a few projects. So he can't be on camera. If he's not working right now, he will definitely be on camera. You probably have seen him in one of my live broadcasts, but he's a great friend from New York. So we do a lot of events together. He's of course higher end because he comes in from that industry, that space, the TV industry. So he has done a lot of broadcast productions. So I'm kind of the little guy learning a lot from him, but I'm glad that he's here watching. Anyways, I'm so excited because I now know. So one of the things that happened to me this past few weeks, I almost gave up because it was such a challenge bringing the education component to the event that I'm doing in Malaysia with my events partner in Malaysia. We goes like, oh my God, it's such a mindset thing. And for some of you who don't know this, I'm originally from Malaysia, my home country. And, Malaysia has this vision of digitalization for the entrepreneurs for the country. But what we, as in me and my colleague Jay, have realized is the mindset isn't there yet. So it's taking a little bit more of a time for people to catch up. So when we did this Malaysia's first ever e-bazaar event in a vendor show format, meaning, virtual trade show, vendor show, what we're realizing is we've had to not only just produce the event, but we've had to educate along the way. And it took a lot of our time, energy, effort, but I'm glad we both are on the same page. We're passionate about bringing what this event is all about. And now what we realized we did was we actually planted a lot of seeds, and now we're being recognized. Our people are paying attention to what we've been doing with this particular e-bazaar. And we've had one networking organization in Malaysia, a women's or a national women's networking organization in Malaysia with about 12,000, 13,000 members, who has come to both me and Jay and go like, hey, we would like for you to create a program for our members to be a vendor at your future e-bazaar events. And we were both like, so what I wanted to share actually, folks, is that don't ever give up if you believe in what you're doing, right? Don't ever give up, in thinking that what you're doing may not be valuable for others. So that's what Jay and I did. And I'm just fortunate and feeling so blessed that we believe in the work that we do and we're passionate about it enough to not give up. And now, we're slowly reaping, the harvest. So yeah, I want to share that. So I'm pretty excited. I know I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be right now. And, the direction of virtual events, or my focus is more of vendor shows live. So it could be a virtual trade show. It could be a fair. It could be a bridal expo, to that sense. So if you know any event planners who want to virtualize their in-person events, especially their in-person vendor events, trade shows, fairs, expos, let me know, because that's my jam right now. So I think I've been yapping about 45 minutes. Well, I actually yapped with my friend Ed. But I think that was a great conversation. I might just chop down this video and kind of share with everybody. I guess, I did this I'm doing this live broadcast when people are at work and stuff. But hey, it's the pandemic. I mean, like, what are you guys busy doing? I would love to have you on a live broadcast and have a conversation with me. So if you do find this, come join me on a live broadcast. We can schedule this out. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, bye.